All right, welcome. Today, we're going to dive deep into the world of payment security. And let's be honest, it's a field that is absolutely critical right now. If you're looking to build a career here, or maybe just level up, you know that standing out from the crowd is everything. So we're going to map out the whole journey, and we'll focus on three absolute powerhouse certifications that can really define your career path: the PCIP, the ISA, and the QSA. So let's just start with the big question, right? In a field that's this complicated, with so much on the line, how do you actually go from being just another IT pro to a recognized, sought-after expert in payment security? It's not just about knowing your way around a firewall or, understanding encryption. It's really about building trust. How do you signal to everyone, employers, clients, your own team, that you've got the specific, verifiable skills to protect that incredibly sensitive payment data? Well, the answer, and really the start of your whole journey, it all comes down to choosing the right professional credential. And this isn't just about adding a few letters after your name to make your LinkedIn profile look good. No. This is about building a solid, provable foundation of knowledge that the entire payment card industry actually recognizes and, more importantly, trusts. It's about speaking that common language of security and compliance that hiring managers are desperate to hear. Okay, so in this first section, let's not think of this as just a list of exams to take. Let's treat it more like a strategic map for your career. We're going to go beyond just what these certifications are and really dig into how they connect, where they can take you, and how you can use them to intentionally chart your own path, from having that foundational knowledge to becoming a specialized, high-demand expert. According to our expert material, the road to success in this industry is really paved with these three specific credentials. First up, you've got the PCIP, the Payment Card Industry Professional. Think of this one as your starting point, your base camp. From there, you've got two specialized paths: the ISA, or Internal Security Assessor, which is for folks who want to be the security champion inside an organization. And then there's the QSA, the Qualified Security Assessor, for those who want to be that external expert consultant. These are not just random certs, you guys. The material makes it super clear. This is what employers are actively hunting for. Earning them is how you get the knowledge, build the confidence, and truly set yourself apart from everyone else. Every solid career, every solid house, it's all built on a strong foundation. And in payment security, that foundation is, without a doubt, the PCI CSP certification. Before you can even think about specializing as an internal or an external assessor, you've got to master the fundamentals of the PCI data security standard. So let's break down this crucial first step. So what exactly is the PCIP? Well, the formal name is Payment Card Industry Professional. But I want you to think of it as your proof of comprehensive mastery of the PCI Data Security Standard, the PCI DSS. It shows you have a solid grip on all 12 core requirements, the testing procedures, the whole mindset of the standard. But it's so much more than just technical know-how. Getting your PCIP, it positions you to become a trusted advisor, someone who can take these complex compliance rules and translate them into actual business strategy. It's about speaking the language of PCI compliance fluently. Now, what's really cool about this is the practical value it brings. First off, the PCIP is good for 3 years, which makes sure your knowledge is always fresh. But here's the absolute best part. As long as you keep up with your continuing professional education, your CP credits, this credential stays with you for life. It's yours. It's a personal certification, a permanent asset in your career toolkit that nobody can take away. And it's also designed on purpose to be that stepping stone, getting you ready for those more specialized ISA or QSA roles. It is, hands down, the best way to show you've mastered the fundamentals of PCI DSS. And hey, this isn't just me talking theory here. The expert material gives us this really powerful personal testimony that just drives the point home. The author, who's seen this whole world from both sides, first inside a huge merchant, and now as a PCI specialist at a bank, says, quote, "I can attest to the importance of the PCI CIP credential." I mean, come on. That kind of real-world validation from someone who's been in the trenches, that's incredibly powerful. It just confirms that this cert isn't some academic exercise. It has real, tangible, day-to-day value for a security professional. So, are you ready to get going? Here are the steps. First, the prerequisite. You gotta have a basic understanding of IT, network security, and network architecture. You don't need to be a guru, but you need that foundational IT knowledge. Second, and this is a really strong recommendation from the expert material, you should absolutely take the official PCICP training course from the PCI Security Standards Council. It's simply the best way to prepare, making sure you're studying all the right stuff and seriously boosting your chances of passing that exam. Okay, so you've built that PCIP foundation. It's solid. Where do you go next? Now it's time to check out the specialized paths, the ISA and the QSA. These two certifications represent a much deeper dive into specific assessor roles. This is where you go from knowing the standard to actively applying it as an assessment pro. Now, before we get into the details of ISA and QSA, we have to talk about the single most important difference between them and the PCSIP. And this slide lays it out perfectly. The PCSIP is your personal credential. It belongs to you. It's kind of like a college degree. You earn it and it follows you from job to job for the rest of your life. The ISA and QSA, though, they are tied to your employer. Think of them like a special key card for a building. You only have it while you work for that specific company in that specific role. And that distinction, that has huge implications for how you plan your career. Okay, let's look at that first specialized path, the Internal Security Assessor, or ISA. Just like the name says, this is an internal-facing role. So if you work on the security team for a merchant or a bank or a payment processor, the ISA cert trains and empowers you to help your own company meet its PCI DSS requirements. You basically become the in-house expert, the go-to person who can guide all the internal projects and validate compliance controls. Digging a little deeper into that ISA role, just remember that crucial distinction. The certification is tied to your current boss. So what happens if you get a fantastic offer and decide to change jobs? Well, you don't lose the knowledge, of course not, but to officially hold that ISA credential again, you'll need to retake the training and the exam sponsored by your new employer. It's a really key part of the program, and it ensures that ISAs are always up to date and deeply in sync with their company's specific environment. Now, for the other path, the Qualified Security Assessor, or QSA. This role is pretty much the mirror image of the ISA. A QSA is an external-facing expert. You're certified by the PCI Council to go into other organizations and conduct their official PCI DSS compliance assessments. You'll work for a specialized QSA company, and your job is to be that independent third-party validator for clients, helping them find their gaps and prove their security posture. So, the number one thing to know about the QSA role is that you have to be employed by a licensed QSA company. It's a non-negotiable. And just like the ISA, your personal QSA cert expires if you leave that company. But the good news is the path is really well defined. If you move to another QSA firm, you just go through a recertification process. And the expert material points out a pretty awesome perk. Because your skills are in such high demand, your new employer will almost certainly cover the cost of that recertification. Phew, we've covered a lot of ground, right? We've defined all three of these key certifications and their unique roles. So now, let's pull it all together in a really clear side-by-side comparison. This will make sure the differences are crystal clear and hopefully help you decide which path really lines up with your own career goals. This table just sums it all up perfectly. Take a look at the PCIP line. It's for any professional in the payments industry. And the key feature? Portability. It's personal, it stays with you for life. Now look at the ISA and QSA lines. The ISA is for internal team members, the QSA for employees of external assessor firms. And for both of them, the huge point is portability. They are employer tied. Seeing it all laid out like this just makes the unique purpose and structure of each credential so obvious. The PCIP is your asset. The ISA and QSA are roles you perform for your employer. Simple as that. So, after mapping all the paths and comparing all the destinations, we get to the final, and honestly, the most important section. What is your next step? It's time to turn all this information into a personal action plan for your career. If there's one central idea I want you to walk away with, it's this. Every strong, successful career in payment security starts with a solid foundation. I mean, you wouldn't build a house on sand, right? So you shouldn't build a specialized career on shaky ground either. The PCISSP certification gives you exactly that solid ground. It's the portable, personal, and absolutely essential base of knowledge that will serve you no matter which specialized path you decide to follow down the road. And that brings us to our final question, a question for you to think about. Once you've earned your PCISCP and that solid foundation is in place, which path are you going to build on top of it? Will you become that internal champion for your organization as an ISA, protecting it from the inside out? Or are you going to take your expertise on the road as a QSA, helping lots of different companies level up their security? The choice is yours, and really, the journey starts right now.